Hello, I'm Amy Stewart. I'm a writer and an artist, and I'm taking your questions. So if you have a question for me, post it in the comments below. I'll try to answer it in a future video, and hit subscribe and you'll be notified when they come in. But I had a question from somebody. She says, I want to get started in oil painting. Do you have any books you recommend? So I've been thinking about this a lot lately, like how to teach oil painting, because I paint in oils and I also paint in watercolor and gouache. And the art classes that I teach online are all in watercolor and gouache, mostly because they're easier to film. But also, you know, one thing that's different about oil painting than any other medium is that the paint stays wet and you can keep working it for days and days. And so it's a little bit harder to teach than like a simple little watercolor or gouache where 30 minutes, you're in, you're out, it's dry, it's over. So it is a little trickier. But the question was about books. And so a book that I really recommend is this book, Daily Painting by Carol Marine. This is Carol Marine's a terrific artist, and she, her painting career really took off when she started painting small daily paintings and posting them for sale online. But even if you're not going to post it for sale online, it's a very good idea to start small with a very simple subject like she does. She's, you know, was doing a lot of still life, like just a couple apples, something like that. So one piece of advice I have for you, read this book. It's a terrific book. Also start small, start with very simple subjects. A piece of fruit is a great example of a simple subject to get you going. It's really helpful with oil painting to take a class in person. And I know that's hard. It might depend on your schedule. It might depend on who in your town is even teaching, and does that work for you. But there's something about oil painting that it really helps to be in a room with other people and to have a teacher actually watching what you're doing and giving you some advice. So do that if at all possible, and try to find an instructor who paints in the style that you like. You know, I learned to paint from a painter who uses a lot of bright colors and paints in a very loose, lovely style that is how I wanted to paint. There were other painters in town who were very precise, very careful, used tiny little brushes, bajillion little details. I don't have the patience for that. That was never the style of oil painting that I wanted to do. So try to find someone who paints in the style that you actually want to paint in. And I guess my last piece of advice would be to start with a very limited palette. You know, when I first started taking oil paintings, I was literally painting with one color, and it was transparent red earth, which is a great color to start with. Convert your photograph to black and white if you're painting from a photograph, and you just do it in that one color. And then slowly build up a very limited palette of colors. You don't need a lot to start with. So I'll actually post something in the notes below this video, and I'll give you some suggestions of a very limited palette to start with. And there are a few good people who are teaching online or doing demos online, and I'll post those as well, but really there's no substitute for taking a class in person. So I don't know, I hope that helps. Enjoy the process. And if you have more questions about that or anything else, post them below. Please subscribe. Come find me online. I have a website. I'm on social media. I send out a newsletter. And I teach online, including art, but it's watercolor and it's gouache. Stay in touch. Thanks very much.